Hello, Tamily. It is time for episode 148 of Ask Tamily. I'm astonished every week at our number of interviews. Our guest for today is Atoya. Her Instagram name is Atoya underscore the curly hair studio, and we are connecting with her right now. Hello.
Hi.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Yes. Oh my God, I'm so excited.
Oh, we
Whoever
are
thought this was going to happen?
it's going to be an amazing interview 148. Thank you for
Oh my
being
gosh.
our
Who
next
knew?
family star. It's wild.
It is wild.
So today's going to be a very fun interview. We do have a little bit of a surprise planned towards the end. So, of course, you have to stay tuned because you're the guest star, but I want everyone else watching to stay tuned also. But what we'll do first is ask some of our planned questions. And of course, if there's any questions in the chat, we'll ask you those questions too.
Awesome. Love it.
Excellent. Well, we're going to start with our favorite question, which is when and how did you start with the Tracy Anderson method?
Okay. So I was trying to go back and look. I don't even remember. It's at least been 10 years at least. So I was thinking, did I show someone her arms? Somehow I saw some clips of arms. It was like on an Access Hollywood with like Gwyneth Paltrow or something. And, you know, here I am doing these like weird arm things. My arms were like dying. I was like, wow, I've never experienced something like this. So then I introduced it to my daughter and just went full on obsession. Like, I think I've read everything ever written by Tracy. Like every interview, I was like, who is this lady? Like, where does she come from? What's her background? That's how it started.
Excellent. So did you do like the metamorphosis? And
yes. So it was metamorphosis. Do you know how many times, and this is true story, I have watched, there was an infomercial like thing with Gwyneth Paltrow and Tracy, and it was all about, you know, metamorphosis. So I've done them all, glute centric, ab centric, because I couldn't really decide. Omnicentric. You know, when my daughter got pregnant, we were like, oh my God, we have to get all the Tracy like pregnancy videos, and I would just do them with her, you know, even though I wasn't pregnant. So that's where it started. I think there was a first CD. I can picture her hairstyle on it with the bangs.
Okay.
And her hair wasn't quite as blonde. It was like a lighter blonde. I mean, a darker blonde. And I think it was like coming to the mat or something like that. That's back when it started. Yeah.
So do you do the streaming workouts now?
I go through my phases of everything. I prefer streaming. So usually it looks like this. I'll get onto streaming and I'll be doing it for a while. And then really it's not her or the method, it's me. That's what I was telling Emily. Like, I lack commitment. It's like, you know, once I get going, then I'm like, oh, I'm doing this every day. And then it just kind of, it's like my eating too, you know, like eating clean. And then next day I'm like ding dongs and Twinkies. So, but I love, there's nothing like the streaming. So then I'll say, okay, every birthday, every Christmas, I'm like, this is what I tell my husband, this is what I'm getting myself. I'm going to do this. I'm going to commit to it. And then I'll do it for a while. And if I haven't worked out a lot in that month, I'm like, okay, just go back to the DVDs until you're ready to really like, you know, commit to this. So that's how it goes. I've probably been streaming several times since when it first launched. I was so excited for it. It was like, my gosh, because, you know, I don't know, she had different music even back then. I think the licensing changed this year, but it was like, you know, we might be sweating to Coldplay and like crying because it's so emotional, right? You know? And then the next song's like Beyonce or something. So
Mhm.
I love the live. I love being in the classroom with her and watching her and
Mhm.
her form. It's just like that energy, because I grew up dancing. I
Mhm.
love that energy. So yeah, there's nothing really like that. It's my favorite.
Yeah, that's the part of it that's, the DVD content and stuff
Yeah.
is a thing, but nothing compares to that energy.
No.
And when you say that about the music, gosh, now I'm remembering, like,
Yeah.
I think there was a workout where a Kid Rock song came on.
Yes.
I don't even like
Yes.
it much. And it
Yes.
was like just this energy from it that we're
Yeah.
sort of missing that at this point,
Yeah.
maybe
Her
one
music
day.
is like her music choices. And I remember her talking about how strategic she was, even with the music. Like you would just feel it in your body, and I
Mhm.
love that.
Yeah, yeah, that doesn't happen as much with these less well-known songs that she
I
used.
wonder why it got like that. I remember years ago someone saying, how did she, get to do like
Mhm.
real music? And then I thought maybe it's just COVID, you know? I don't know. Maybe
I
it's
don't
changed.
know. Definitely Instagram's more intense about copyrighted music.
That's true. And I follow her like Spotify playlist. We just played it the other day in the salon. I just do it because I love her music choices. I tend to be more hip hop, but I love the music she brings. It kind of opens my eyes to like this whole different genre, and I always love it.
Yeah, I don't think I'd listen to anything except hip hop if it wasn't for
Yes,
Tracy Anderson.
yes, it's so true.
So what about this method? As much as I think many of
Yeah.
us struggle with consistency, but what about this method makes it different for you from any other fitness method?
Oh my gosh, everything. I'll start off with I love that she doesn't talk, which I
Mhm.
know for some people that's jarring and they want to like have cues and stuff. I love that she's completely present and watching her own form, and she challenges you to watch your own form and for it to be this personal space, right? And so I think because she has that dance background and so do I just connect with it. I connect with, I want to watch my form, I want to know my extension. Um, and that connection makes you tune in. It's not like she said one time, you can't just walk on the treadmill and just like be watching, you know,
Mhm.
TV, like Netflix, but to like engage in it, I just feel like there's nothing else quite like it. There's a magic piece that she has that I haven't seen in any other workout. And I feel different. I feel more connected when I'm doing it. For some reason, I feel like, if I was doing this many weird leg moves over and over and repetitively, I would be dying. But somehow she puts you, I'm still dying, but in a mental place that something kicks in like a runner's flow, but instead of a runner's flow, more of like a muscular structure flow where you can do more than you thought you could because it's really here. And that
Mhm.
connection, I don't always see that. And I think I get distracted if I'm in a class where there's lots of talks
Mhm.
and stuff, I get unfocused on
Mhm.
that connection. And that's what I love that she brings is like, she's just there kind of guiding, but it's all about connecting
Yeah.
here and here, right?
Yeah.
So that's the magic piece for me.
Mhm. Yeah, that is completely, it's like you're watching her, but you're doing all of it.
Yeah,
You're the connections. And that
yeah,
is what's so different from her than like any other
yeah.
method at all. Like, I can't stand that 1, 2, 3, and now your leg and stuff. No, there's no way. I'm
I
like,
can't
that's not what you
either. And like the strategy behind what she does, um, even sometimes where someone will say, "Oh, you did 10 over here and you only did 12 over here," but she doesn't want you counting.
do.
Like you're supposed to be in it and like
Yeah.
fully present, fully engaged, not thinking about anything else. And I would say not all workouts are like that because I could just be lifting weights and just like
Mhm.
making my grocery list in my head. I don't really have to. She makes you pay attention. You got to stay on your toes or else, you know, it's on to the next thing and you're missing it.
Absolutely. How would you say Tracy has influenced you since you've been doing this method for a decade?
When I was formulating kind of my business plan, one of the questions was, you know, look at other brands, companies, people that inspire you. And Tracy Anderson definitely was at the core of that. So some of her pillars that she's used, I've actually brought it into here. And I was telling Emily, it's so crazy because I call what I do the method. And it's really two components, shape and hydrate, right? Okay. And everyone thinks I named it the method because of the curly girl method. And the truth is, that's not why I named it that. It was because I was thinking about what I do in my work. And I was thinking, it's like what Tracy does, where it's a complete method, right? It's this whole system. And she had two components in it, the muscular structure and the dance cardio. And I was like, mine has two components to it. It's the shape and it's the hydrate. And so I did a lot of things in my business, just the way she does stuff, the way she has community. I knew community was going to be a pillar of what I did, and putting people together so that they can encourage each other and inspire each other. I think she's done that just so well with the Tamily, like how it's formed this community. People are more likely to do something when they're in community. Mm-hmm. And so I followed those pillars. I followed the pillar of connection, because even though she's famous and all those things are true, there's still, I've never met her, hung out with her, but there's something really real about her and relatable that I just admire. And I admire her as a businesswoman, and used those foundational pieces to do what I do. Like I brought it over. So to say it's just about her method, it's way beyond that in what she's done with this method. Is like, man, I'm like, if people only knew. Oh no, I've really researched her and thought, man, she's a genius. I love what she does.
She really, really is. That's such an incredible point that you make about the connection. Because I know, like, you know, there's times that like people's consistency wanes and stuff. And I thought, like, if I pay for a Vitality Week, of course I'm gonna do my workout every day. But that's not enough. Like, it was when I had a connection to the Tamily, then I found it. Like, it's so much more broad than just the workout method, or just like her genius about fitness is one whole aspect. But it really is about your full well-being and your true best balanced self. That I think that's one reason why we do these interviews, because it's so hard to get people to see it if they haven't like actually done the method. I think it's like, got to do it for months before you really, really get it. Yes. But that's awesome that you actually like include that in your business plan. That is really, really amazing.
Yeah.
So on that note, have you ever been to a Vitality Week or a studio?
I've never been to a Vitality Week. Even pre-COVID, it was like my dream. Always telling my husband, like, oh, I'm going. If she's going to be like, I really want to do it maybe in SoCal, like West Coast, you know? But yeah, I'm going. And, you know, then COVID happened. So it'll happen someday. But I was in New York probably, remember when she has 2 studios there, and she had just opened a new one. I don't even know what street it's on because I don't know New York that well. So me and my daughter go to New York, and, you know, I have the list of things we're going to do, but I have to go to Tracy Anderson Studios. Like, that is a must. And we are like, you know, doing the cab thing. Well, it ended up being we were at the wrong one. I guess we were at the older one, but who cares? And we're walking, freezing cold. It snowed in New York. We're like in May. I didn't expect it to snow. We're freezing. It's windy. We walked, you know, found it. I go in, and here's me like a grown lady saying, you guys, I'm like a major fan of everything Tracy Anderson. Can you give me a tour of the space? And the guy working there was so nice. And he took us all through and like the locker rooms and everything. And like, just, I felt like a kid, you know, at Christmas we saw the rooms, you know, where they're actually working out. And I was like, oh my God, I would die in that room, because one thing I've never done is the humidity and the heat thing. Now I know what everyone uses in the Tamily because I've looked at it all, but I already die just doing it without. When I saw that room, I was like, I don't know if I could live in there. Like, you know, I might have to get in major shape before I go to a Vitality Week and get in that heat. Have you done it?
Yeah.
Man.
It's way more mental than physical. You can do it.
Really? Oh man, it just feels, that was like, I was like, oh my gosh, that's next level.
It is, but also like there's so much energy from being there, and even just like her, obviously, but the rest of the Tamily being there, and you can do it.
Yes.
Even if it's not a Vitality Week, like
right.
As soon as we can travel, oh my God, I'm going to be meeting with people in every possible city, but especially New York.
Yes, yes.
So for sure, you can do it.
I'll take your word for it.
What would be your advice to someone who wants to get involved with the method or wants to be more consistent with it?
I talk about it all the time to my clients, so they probably know. Even just like a couple days ago, I was telling someone, a lot of people, I don't know if it's a West Coast thing, but they're like, what? I haven't heard of this. I'm like, are you kidding me? It's going to change your life. So I always tell people, you get to go just sign up. It's 2 weeks free. Just do it. Like, you know, do it and you'll see. Like I think if someone just does it, there's no way you could do it and not catch the buzz from it, right? I mean, just doing her arms alone was enough to make me think, my God, this is so different, you know? Yeah. So I just always tell people to do that. Like, just try the trial, see what happens. See how much you, you know, get addicted to it. And I do tell people not to worry about doing Attain or fundamentals. Like, just start with the basic, you know? You could just start there. Because sometimes people see that and they're right away like, whoa, intimidated, you know? So I tell my clients all the time, everyone knows I have this adoration for all things Tracy. Yeah.
That's excellent. And that's so true. Like, people do put a lot of pressure on themselves, or think if they see someone doing Attain moves on Instagram, like, oh, I can't do that. Yeah, that person couldn't do it 7 days ago either. Like, you know, it is all about like building, and then you can do things you never thought that you could.
Yes, yes.
Have you faced any challenges in doing the method?
More just consistency. And if I'm doing, like, I can maybe do half of the moves. So I always try to modify everything. And in my head, I think I'm doing it right. I hope I really am. Because I love that her extension on everything. I feel like I do understand it because of dance. And balance, the way she's creating balance on both sides of the body. And I try to modify certain things. Like, I have a bad right knee from years of dancing. And so sometimes when I'm doing stuff on this right knee, you know, I might, if she's up here, I might modify and go down to my elbow, but I still try to make sure I'm doing the connection and balancing in the way that she is. I've even thought myself sometimes, like, gosh, I wonder if I could be like the modifier. Like, I could show someone like, oh, here's how you do it if you have a hurt knee, or, you know, I also, because I cut hair all day and I do a lot of styling, you know, I get like tennis elbow. I have wrist stuff. A lot of hairstylists do. And so, you know, since we're like this, a lot of times I really work on where to shift my weight and my body being present to that. And sometimes I do, like I said, I'll go down and modify on my elbows, just kind of trying to take that pressure off if sometimes it's there, just because I use these a lot, you know, my wrist.
Right.
So,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I think that's something people have to think about too, because they don't always think they could modify. Like
Yeah.
instead they would just skip the whole move or something. And
Yeah, or try to do it really sloppy. You know, where you're just like half kind of throwing up the leg. And it's like, oh, I'd rather do one and like really do that full extension to her 20 that she's doing perfect. Just to make sure I'm feeling that in my whole body. And that's why I like the breakdowns too, is just to watch where that extension happens. Because it can be that slightest tweak. If someone's ever done it and, you know, done the arms even, and they're like, oh, I didn't really feel anything. I'm like, oh, you didn't do it right.
Right.
Like, because you have to really, you know, all the way out through the fingertips, or, you know, because I promise you it will hurt if you, you know, you will burn.
Yes. And I mean, I think maybe it's from, you know, doing metamorphosis, like where she does talk to you, even though she's not giving you cues.
Right.
But where she's saying, like, you know, I remember her saying something like, Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz, like reaching for the ruby slipper, or if that's the right thing. But something like that, where it's about like your energy going through every part of your body. And you can do the workout like just going through the motions, or you can do it like you're moving through water.
Yes.
And you
that performance piece.
Whole body.
Yes.
Yeah. Exactly. Would you have any tips for doing the method when traveling?
Gosh, it's so easy with, you know, especially if you're streaming, because you can just do it on the app, or, you know. Yeah, I would say that's the easiest way. I used to take my computer along and have her DVDs in the side of it, but they don't really make them like that anymore. Right. Have you noticed? So probably easiest for streaming. Yeah, that's how I would do it.
Do you currently do Attain, Fundamental, Start, or do you
always basic? Always. And sometimes if she does like a live thing, I'll try it. I've made it through 45 minutes of like, you know, Attain. Wait, is Attain the last one?
Yeah.
Okay, then Fundamentals.
Okay.
I'll make it through like 45 minutes of that.
Okay.
I think you know, I don't think I've ever made it past that. More my body's just like, okay, yeah, like, you know, like we're good. Like, but that's the goal. Gosh, I watch all of you guys and just in awe. I mean, a lot of times I'll just scroll my personal and I just hashtag Tamily and just watch everyone doing their full, and I'm like, man, athletes. So good.
Especially the dance cardio stuff. Like, I mean, I'm not sure that there are professional athletes who could jump for an hour. Like, you know, I mean, it's true.
I know. Man, can you imagine getting the floors though? I know some people have them and I'm so jealous.
Yeah, that makes a huge difference. I mean, experiencing them, I imagine having them in your house maybe is not quite the same as the studio, but definitely close. But that certainly makes you feel like you can float. So it's got to make it more fun.
Totally.
What is something important to you that you would like to share with the Tamily?
Oh, just about life? Just kidding. About everything. Gosh, I kind of have, you know, I kind of just thought, man, I want to be committed. So this is kind of like my accountability come out, right? Like, okay, you guys, I admire you all so much. So I think it's more like reaching out to you guys of what keeps you, how do I commit to getting up every day, getting up in the morning? Like, you know, do you work out in the morning? More feedback from you guys of how not to be lazy, I guess, you know, like how do you stick with it? I like sometimes I'll wake up in the morning and if I have time, I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna, you know, do the workout. When I come home from a full day on my feet, all day long standing, it's like the last thing I want to do. Mm-hmm. So when I saw this question, that's what I was thinking is like, what would I like people to know? It's more of a flip around. Like I want to know from, you know, the community, what tips, advice, like what works for you, what works, you know, to keep consistent. Consistency is a thing that I lack, I feel like so much, and I could feel better, see more results if I stayed consistent. So,
well, I think that there's like a whole faction of the Tamily that consistency is not a problem for them.
Yeah.
And they get into like that habit, or it's like the I don't know, kind of addiction to endorphins. Yeah. And then there's a whole nother section of Tamily that
I don't know about this section. I didn't know there was another section.
Yes, maybe they aren't posting about this as much, but there are thousands of us that are like, are you kidding me? How can I like get to the mat every day? How can I do it every day?
Okay, gosh.
Your point about like working on your feet all day and then working out at night has to be really, really tough.
Yeah.
But the morning workout thing is super tough too. Like I switched to morning workouts a year ago and people are like, oh, now you're like an AM person. And I'm like, hell no. I hate every minute of it. It doesn't get better. It doesn't get easier. I drag myself up the stairs every morning wishing that I didn't have to do it. Of course, once I do it, I'm glad. But one of the things, and I don't know if you have tried this, is like doing Zoom workouts with each other or having like a partner who works out at the same time and checking in with each other.
Yeah, I've never done it. Like, that might be the thing. Because that, even when, you know, Emily like wrote me and reached out, I was like, oh man, I love Tracy and the Tamily more than, you know, like, but my consistency is like, maybe this is the time. Maybe this is the turning point, I thought, where I could come on, be accountable, and get that kind of, you know, that community support. And I also stay in the background of that, you know, stuff. It's not like I would hashtag Tamily years ago, but I wasn't like, you know, I don't know. Most of my stuff online is about my business. So there wasn't, you're not going to see me in a video doing the workout. Although I did one time. Do you remember when Tracy had, J-Lo came out with this new song, something, I Ain't Your Mama?
Yes.
And we had to like do the thing every day.
Yeah.
That's the last time I posted. Okay. And that was so long ago. And I was at the coast. I remember Tracy wanted to do some headstand thing. And I was outside on the porch. My husband's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I have to do this for the Tamily. I don't know what I'm doing. The last time I've ever tried to be upside down. So yeah, maybe that's the thing. And I'm so relieved to know there's a whole bunch of people out there like me who struggle with consistency, but yet adore all things Tam and really want it. You know, it's like, I know what it does when I do it. And even with my body, because I use my body to work and I get tight hips and all those things, you know, when I'm doing it, it's like, oh, I'm standing a little different. My posture's a little different. My back feels better. My elbow feels better. Like all the areas that usually hurt from repetitive motion of what I do get better. So thank you for sharing that with me. My gosh, it makes me feel so better. It's weird for me to be answering questions because I'm usually the one always asking questions. So I already have like a million questions in my head for you that I'm thinking in my head, like, no, I really want to be interviewing or anyone on here, right? Like, how do you do it? Tell me, what's the secret?
Well, I'm sure you'll get tons of messages and comments from people since you asked me
Yes,
this interview.
good. I'm so glad.
And I also want to say it's definitely not a, like real requirement to like post your workouts and stuff because there's tons of the Tamily that doesn't do that, even though they message and they watch these interviews and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I just like to point that out too. I think sometimes people think they can't be interviewed if they don't post their workouts, but they can.
Did you even know how this whole thing, like when Emily wrote me, like we were writing back and forth somehow. And what's so weird, I had just 2 weeks before watched you interview her on YouTube randomly. Like, I watch all these interviews. And I was watching it and I'm thinking, wow, man, her hair looks really hydrated. Like, she's got really good, waves. Not even knowing, like having no clue that then she was going to write me. And I was like, I didn't make the connection because, the picture is like this big. I don't know who anyone is. You probably don't know. And I was like, wait a minute. I just saw your interview. Like 2 weeks ago, I was watching you get interviewed. Very random, You just never know.
You never know.
Yeah.
Ask Tamily is definitely going to become super famous.
Yeah, I think so.
So we want to know a little more about that connection. So one question about your IG handle, but I think maybe that can tie it into you telling us a little more about how Emily knows who you are and your profession.
Yes. Okay, so I'm a curl specialist. That means I devote my career to wavy and curly and coily hair. So I cut and I educate and teach, and I have online courses. I have communities built around it. I moved to the Pacific Northwest from California, and it rains here all the time. And I decided I didn't want to like blow my hair out. I just was like, oh, then I go outside and it gets like this. So how can I do this? And so I devoted my career to it because people would tell me horror stories. When your hair's curly and it's like down to here and you go and get it cut wet a lot of times, then all of a sudden it's like up to here, right? And people are always like, I want my hair to grow. So I heard all these stories. It was really born out of a need. And so I decided this is all I'm going to do. I remember telling my husband, I'm not doing anything else. I'm not going to color hair anymore. I'm not going to cut anyone with straight hair. This is it. I'm going to do this. And really committed to it. It's been over a decade of just that. I've seen thousands of women. And so the more I dove into that and made it like my specialty, I started creating online content because not everyone's coming to Portland, Oregon, to sit. And I love it. I mean, I love what I do. I feel like if my body could do it, I could do it all day long, right? So my chiropractor is always telling me, Atoya, your body is your instrument. You have to take care of it and move it to keep it, fluid because it's a physically demanding career. But I love what it does for people, giving back. I do a lot of like philanthropy, charity kind of stuff that's built in here too, to give back to the community that I'm involved in. And that's probably the most rewarding part. I've trained other people to do it now. I was Oregon's first curls only. And now, I mean, it's just grown into this amazing community that's super supportive and loving. And I feel lucky. Even in the middle of a pandemic, we're super busy all the time. We can never keep up. And we are a community. When people come in here, it's like a family. I mean, we're, pre-COVID, I'm a big hugger. So everyone gets hugs, and I love that space, I'm actually in my salon right now.
Oh.
Because I already have, things to put my camera in here. And so lots of windows, good lighting.
Yeah, it is great
So
lighting.
Emily took a curl course, a wave
Mhm.
course
Mhm.
online. So I didn't know that she was watching me while I was watching her.
That's
And then
unbelievable.
I did a workout one day and I posted like, Tracy Anderson Method's the best thing out there, whatever. And then she wrote me and she's like, hold up, you love Tracy Anderson? I was like, hello? Like, yes, for years. Like, I have been preaching her gospel. So it was really cool.
Yeah, when Emily told us that she took a class
Yeah.
about like wavy hair, I think that was even before we knew
Yeah.
that like she knew there was a Tracy Anderson connection. And I was like, I didn't even know you could take a class about hair.
Yes. Yes.
Like I was like, that's so interesting to
Yeah.
me. So yeah, we got to get the word out about
Yeah,
that
it's a
too.
thing. Yeah. I love it because, you know, it's very it's very like non-conformist. It's really a self-acceptance, self-embracing kind of thing.
Mhm.
It's like there's all these um unspoken kind of biases out there like, oh, well, if you wear your hair wavy or curly or if it's frizzy, then it's not professional or it doesn't look pretty or there's these ideas out there. So I knew if I was going to stay in it, I had to have something here that was behind it, like a cause, right? And that is what it was. It was more to like get people free to say, no, you can wear your hair in its natural state and it still be beautiful and you're beautiful the way you are. I'm not anti glam and blowing it out either. There's a whole another segment of, you know, the curly world out there that's kind of swung the other way with a lot of rules. I really lean towards like simplicity and minimalism, and it is, just part of that self-acceptance stuff of like, no, it's okay to have frizz and to wear my hair how it naturally is, and to be comfortable in that is key.
Absolutely. That's just another sort of message that's kind of
Yeah,
under method as
it
well.
is. It is. Because I love that. I feel like Tracy, that sometimes people will say, oh, the teeny tiny dancer body thing that you've heard go around. And it's like, you haven't really watched her then because I am not teeny tiny. And I feel like she's always preached more like self-acceptance and being where you are and loving yourself enough to do the work is really, it comes from that angle. And that's something that I try to do in my work as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Like being your best self and your
Yeah.
most confident self,
Yeah.
not necessarily being.
Not anyone else. I've heard her
Yeah.
say it several times, like, don't try to get J-Lo's butt. Like, have your butt,
Right. Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
admire that.
Exactly. Exactly. What would you say you're most proud of professionally?
Um, you know, I do love that I've trained other people now, and all the people that I've trained in here, and I've done a lot of classes, but just for my studio, they've all been women of color. Um, they've all, hitting a number that's financially security for them. So to be able to give back from what I've learned and then teach other people to do the same thing is, I love that. And I love all the work that I'm involved in with. So I'll do breast cancer is very dear to my heart. So if someone has chemo curls after they've gone through chemo and their hair comes back, it's a whole different texture. They'll come in and either I'll gift them a service or if they're online and they're a breast cancer survivor and they want to know more about it, I will give them my courses for free. I do work with the foster system teaching parents who take in kids with curly hair, predominantly black, like teach them like, oh, this is how you work with hair that's textured. So moms of special needs is another thing. I do a lot of free services and give back in that community. I love that I've been able to use my gift to bless these people that have trained under me and secure their future, and then give back to the community at large with people that, you know, are my heroes, like moms of special needs, cancer survivors. Those are the people that it's like, oh, the least I can do is give you a course on hair or a haircut, you know? So that's my most proud, is giving back to others.
That is really amazing.
Yeah.
It really sounds like you've created such a community
Yeah.
in, you know, your work. Like that is awesome, especially the principles that it's based on.
Yeah.
So without doing all of that, like what is important to you personally that allows you to maintain balance in your life?
Gosh, I don't even know if I believe in balance. Trying to. I love what I do. So for me, it just comes pretty natural. If anything, I have to wheel it in to set boundaries and not all the time pour out. But recently, in the last few years, I've really been bringing in the practice of living like a unhurried, unbusy life. And I think that's helped me focus on balance, because, you know, I want to give in here and give back here, but I also, you know, I'm concerned with my own health, well-being. I'm a wife, I'm a grandmother, I'm a mother, I'm a friend. So I think that practice of slowing down, not trying to like always go big and move to the next level. Like I keep myself pretty grounded, and my family keeps me grounded too. I mean, you know, they're the first to like, you know, keep it like that. So yeah, I think living the unhurried life and doing that as a practice is what keeps me balanced.
That is a very good message for sure. Because I think sometimes it's really just your mindset.
Yeah.
You know, the same sort of calm, unhurried person could accomplish the same things as the frazzled, like, you know, late, overwhelmed person. So that is,
and it is a practice. It's not like it's, even though I am kind of a turtle and I move slow in life anyways, but up here, you know, to kind of give this, to get this to kind of be silent, maybe not scrolling on Instagram as much, spending more time reading, being more present, movement in my body, trying to, you know, do those things to keep that balance, because I could by nature too just workaholism, like I could work, you know? So making it that practice to live an unhurried life it helps me.
Yeah, that's an incredibly important message that also ties back to the method to me.
Yes.
Is there anything else that you would want to share about your experience with the Tracy Anderson Method in particular?
No, it's just I need to meet Tracy. That's my ultimate dream. Like I want to hug her, you know? Like, oh, thank you for creating this. You're a genius. Yeah, but I might get nervous in real life, and I don't get nervous that often, you know? So, and meet all of you guys. Now I'm like, oh my gosh, when is, you know, life gonna, when can I go to Vitality Week? And,
oh my gosh.
But you guys might have to, you know, I might be in the back really slow doing my thing, but.
Totally. That's fine. There's a whole lot of stuff in the back.
I had no idea.
Yeah, whenever there's like Vitality Week, or we do a lot of Tamily meetups. I don't know if you know that, or at least we did prior to COVID.
I know. I saw you guys had a big one like right before.
Yep. Yeah. In Chicago.
Gosh, and that was like the week before, wasn't it?
It was like so close before. It might have been a few weeks like before the official pandemic started. But
sorry about the Dutch bros.
But I think there was pandemic rumors happening already, and there was like 40 of us in Chicago together.
Oh my gosh.
It was amazing. We have to do it again as soon as possible. just going crazy.
Oh, I can't wait to meet people and hear their
Oh,
stories. I love hearing people's stories.
yeah. I mean, literally, as soon as we can travel, I want to be in like New York and Chicago every other weekend or something. I don't know how.
Where do you live at?
North Carolina.
Oh, okay. So not that far. Everyone's like East Coasters, I noticed. But this, was it Nicole?
Mm-hmm.
Wrote me, and she lives in Salem.
Yeah.
Like not even an hour from me. I was shocked. I told my husband, oh my God, there's Tamily in Oregon. I had no idea.
Yeah.
Oregon, I don't know. I just didn't picture it. I just didn't picture it.
Well, we're everywhere. But yeah, there's, you know, West Coasters and East Coasters. But everybody can get to New York and everybody can get to Chicago. So to me, those are the two easy.
And New York, like, oh, who doesn't want to go to New York? I miss New York. I love it. I love it there.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I'm going to have to like start booking plane tickets. I can't stop thinking about it.
Yes.
So we do have a surprise little experience that we're going to be
oh my gosh, yay.
doing in a moment. We've never done this before, but we should be in just a second. Okay, we're going to have a surprise guest joining us, and she's going to be connecting. Hello!
Oh my gosh, and look at your hair, looks so good.
Thank you. I watched it. I learned from the master herself.
It looks so good. I just saw, I don't remember when it was, but recently there was a video of you with straight hair, and I was like, I don't even know you. I don't even know you with straight hair.
I've embraced it. I'm just going with it. It's almost a full year. So
wow.
So we wanted to do this surprise. I'm calling it the speed round of questions.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Yes.
But before I do that, since you were looking for like some accountability, my question for you is, what type of accountability works best? Because some people will get a bunch of messages and they'll feel a lot of pressure, which can actually negatively impact what your goal is. And other people want that kind of motivation. So even if you don't know the answer right now, let me know later, because then we can figure out within the Tamily how we can help you if you want to be more consistent in a way that's going to work for you and not feel like,
yes. Like 100 messages. Like, have you worked out today? Yeah. Okay.
We don't want you to delete Instagram.
Right. All of a sudden I'm gone. Like, everything's gone.
Ghosted. Okay. So I have questions. These are just whatever comes off the top of your head. Some of them you can provide more detail if you want to.
Okay.
My first question is, regardless of hair texture, what is one thing that you think everybody could do a better job with their hair with the products they already have today?
Hydration. So regardless if you have curly, wavy, or straight hair, if you marry water with the conditioner, it's that mix that really brings it in, because water is vital for everyone. It is on a cellular level. It makes up most of our DNA, and your hair is just an extension of that. People underestimate the water. So just to put that in, like, do this today. When you go to put on your conditioner, regardless of your hair type, don't wring out your water first, because that water is precious. Just take a little bit of conditioner and mix it in with the water and see what happens.
Perfect tip. I'm so glad. Okay, good. All right. Is there one celebrity that you can think of that you would just love to get your hands in their hair? And
oh my gosh, so many. Let me count the waves. But Gwyneth Paltrow has wavy hair, so I need to show her how to do her waves. Kate Hudson has, wavy hair. And of course, Tracy Ellis Ross. I know she does it really good and she has pattern, but I feel like, ooh, I want to just like give it some shape and really go in there and do some major hydration. There's tons. I'm watching TV all the time, like, oh my gosh, Selma Hayek actually has curly hair. Maybe I should teach her. Yeah.
Yes. I've noticed, like, textured hair in general, I see it so much more on TV.
Yes.
I don't know if I'm more aware now, or people are more embracing it now, or both, but I'm like, I love it. I love to
Yes.
see it.
Oh, if I'm watching the news and someone comes on and she just rocking her big afro, I'm like, oh, yes, thank you.
Yes.
I love it.
Okay, tell us, what is soul hair?
Yeah, soul hair is the hair you feel most represents your inside. Like if you could take your inside and make it come out, that would be your soul hair. So for example, if I did my hair in a shag with bangs up to here, it'd be cute and fun, and I've done it before, but I don't feel like it really represents who I am. It's like putting on maybe your favorite dress, or you feel best in a pair of jeans with, like a blazer. It's something that makes the expression of your soul kind of come alive. You'll feel like, no, this is it. Like I love mine down the middle. I actually liked it a little more painted with highlights blonde. It feels more beachy. So soul hair is that hair that you feel like yourself. Your truest self comes out and you feel like, I am representing how I feel in here.
Love it.
Yes.
Your soul hair also has a hat of some sort, because
Always. Even my little emoji girl has a hat on.
Yeah.
But that's really because my hair's thin up here and it gets greasy on like day 4. So I wear lots of hats. I literally have a ton of them by my door. And I just roll out of bed, I throw one on, and I'm like, wow, if people only knew. Here's my day 4 hair. It's always a hat.
That's what we call a refresh, is a hat.
Yes, yes. It is.
Okay, what is your number one beauty tip?
Oh, man. There's so many. So altogether beauty, it's still going to be water, drinking water, hair, skin, everything's water, water, water. Even I've been doing oil cleansing lately. Have you done that on your face?
Yes.
So good. But breaking it down, there's a way you mix it with water, even though oil and water don't mix, so you have to emulsify it. So drinking water and using water for all the things that's my always magic.
Water, number one tip. Okay, if I were to ask Rich, what is his favorite thing about you? What would he say?
Oh my gosh.
Rich,
well, if it was looks wise, here's the truth. We all have our things. I can't stand how my mouth turns down here. Like if I could, I would just shoot it up and not have it. And I'm always telling him, I feel like I'm going to have to get Botox. I don't know if I can live with this. And he always tells me, no, it's my favorite thing about you. So some of the things I don't like even chunky stomach, like the things I don't like about myself, he always loves about me. So physically, he would probably say, right, this. And character-wise, I bet he would say, I always keep him laughing. I bet that would be his thing. Yeah.
what would be your number one parenting advice so far in your life?
Oh my gosh. Wow. That's like the big one. Number one, I'm really into letting them be themselves and fully express their emotions without killing it, without jumping in and wanting to control. If my daughter's watching this, she's probably going to send me a text soon. Like, really? But I'm learning because my grandpa told me one time, Atoya, by the time you're old enough to have kids, you're too old to have kids, because you're always learning, but definitely letting them have a voice and express their emotions and just validating that is really key.
Yes. What was your first car?
It was like a Hyundai, 4-door. I don't even know. It was like $1,200, but I had like this booming system in it because music was everything, and the speakers in the back were more expensive than the actual car because I wanted it to like bump with like Dre and Pac and Big. Like it had to bump. And it was like a Hyundai something, like a 4-door. I don't even know what.
What color was it?
It was gray. Yes.
Sounds fun.
Car memories, they're always the best. Even if it was like a terrible car, it was still the best car because it was
Yes.
And you could just get like out and about. So
Yeah.
I that you used to sing, and maybe you still do sing, but
Yeah.
what is your favorite song to sing?
Oh man. So yeah, been singing my whole life. What would be my favorite? I love, if I'm karaokeing, it's gonna be either um, Aretha Franklin, Natural Woman. I love At Last by Etta James. And I love Alicia Keys, Everything. And I do still sing. Pre-COVID, I had started taking voice lessons because what's happened is as I've aged, my voice doesn't have the capacity. We just don't have that lung. I'm working on my breathing techniques actually because I can't hold notes. I can't go as high as I used to. I have a lot of acid reflux, so it gets scratchy. And I teach all day, right? So learning to move it from here down into here has been hard. So, yeah, those are my favorite songs.
Okay. Love it. I can't wait to hear you sing one
Yeah,
day.
maybe one day I'll do. I used to do a lot of little singing stuff, but haven't lately. I need to go back to lessons and strengthen it. It's definitely a muscle. And when
Yeah.
you quit, you know, it gets kind of hoarse.
Well, if you come to New York, Tara Struss, she's another Tamily member, and she's a singer. We'll all have to go out and
Oh
just
my gosh,
crash
yes.
bars.
Yes, let's
Totally.
do it.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, my last question is, what piece of advice do you have for anyone else in the Tamily who might be struggling?
Oh my gosh. I'm like, do they struggle? Do they struggle like me? That's my
They
first.
do. They
Oh
do.
my gosh. Yeah, you know, if they're struggling with staying committed like I am or not committed, that's the wrong word because I am committed to it. It's more consistent would be the word. Then I'd say do the same thing I did today. Reach out and ask because that community, that's what it's there for, is to support you. If they're struggling with moves, modify, right? Like, and I would work on the extension first and that full movement versus trying to see if you can stay with that many reps. It's better to do like 5 correct, you know, than doing a bunch of them kind of where you're just your body, because you can injure yourself, 1, and 2, you're just not getting that full experience if you're not feeling it extend all the way through the hands and all the way like your toes extended and you're doing that lengthening. There's something about that fluidity and movement that I think gets everything going, you know?
Totally. I always say flinging ain't it. So if you're flinging,
Let's put that on merch. Flinging ain't it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Well,
Yep.
this has been so awesome. We've never ended an interview with 3 people on it before. So
Oh my
I'm gonna-
gosh, that's so fun. Yay, we get to do like something new. This is so fun.
Super fun. I loved being able to pop on. So thank you for letting me crash the party at the last minute. And I'll turn it back to Suzanne to close it out. I'll just stay on that way. It doesn't mess anything up.
Oh, yeah, I love it.
Well, Atoya, we're at 59 minutes now. This
Yes,
is
perfect.
definitely the most fun 59 minutes I've had all weekend.
Yes.
So I'm super glad we were able to interview you, and I look forward to meeting you at a New York or Chicago
Yes.
meetup very soon.
I've never been to Chicago.
Oh gosh,
So
you got,
maybe that's the
gotta
place.
come. And you have to bring Nicole with you because she didn't come to the last Chicago meetup.
Okay,
so.
I will.
Yeah, we'll absolutely do that. And you let Emily know later what kind of accountability you're looking for,
Okay.
and the family will rain it down on you for sure.
Oh my gosh, what if this changes my life? I was
It
telling
is
my
going
daughter,
to.
what
I'm so
if this
excited.
is what I needed? What
Yes.
if this is it? I'm so excited. Thank you
Then we'll
guys
do
so
the
much.
free
Oh my gosh,
interview of the year.
so much fun. I'll talk to you soon.
We love
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Bye, Tamily.